my students noticed that I like Star Wars.
No what?
I was wearing a Darth Vader sweater today.
They don't assume everyone your age likes Star Wars. I just feel like that's like a.
I don't know if that was just now ageist.
Okay.
Well, it was during like
There you are.
y'all's childhood.
No effect. I need the bigger sword.
Hi, we're out of initiative. I got Cole next to me, and I got Phoenix in his dorm room. Today is the last day, or maybe the one day late, to have maybe downloaded this PDF and looked at it. And the poll, in theory, went up today, though I haven't looked at it yet. For the D&D 1 character origins, where it talks about backgrounds, races. It's going to cover some first level feats, which will be a conversation we need to have. And it gets into the whole D20 thing that everyone's up in arms about, that we get to have a conversation about. But at first blushes, guys, what'd you think?
I'm a fan. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think they're majoritively moving in directions that I want them to do so.
Right, correct. I didn't hate anything I saw for the most part.
I think
Yeah.
a lot of the things in this PDF gave new possibilities for playing. While very few rule changes or added rules, limited options, which I enjoy.
That's actually a good point. It's not like they changed a lot of the mechanics as much as they changed where you found the mechanics or where the mechanics landed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to go
It's
ahead.
not necessarily a new addition.
It's a 0.5, which you guys are too young to understand that reference.
It's some
but,
DLC thrown in.
It's
DLC,
a DLC, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's a DLC.
Yeah, back in 3rd edition, they made it, and I don't know what the deal was, but there's a lot of things that were fuzzy about it that they/the community ended up liking. So it wasn't long before they created what everyone referred to as 3.5.
Yeah, which you always hear about.
Which you always hear about, right? People love the hell out of 3.5, right? Well, it was called 3.5 for a reason, because they made an iteration. It wasn't a completely rules change like it had been, that sort of thing. So, we're going to change scenes here. We're looking at the beginning of the character origins and that sort of thing. I'm going to have to remember not to do a whole lot of highlighting or I lose my other little window. Welcome to the world. But as you see here, we got the character races, the backgrounds, starting languages. Let's talk about starting languages. They have a common sign language.
Yes, they did add sign language.
I'm excited about that. I like the idea of an ASL table.
Yeah. No, I've always wanted a thieves' camp, but not thieves' camp.
Okay, right. And so that's just another different thing. That's not sign language, but that's
just something to get across that wasn't.
Mm-hmm. So
I did find it interesting they also included Thieves' Cant as an optional language now.
Yeah, as a background or something.
As a background language.
Which
is
cool because, any class can be a thief.
Yeah, I completely. And Thieves' Cant is really such a niche ability if you don't have 2 rogues in the party.
Yeah.
So opening up the avenues a little bit would be pretty cool and nice.
It's only really.
And also, I wonder if they're
going
to.
Party.
Yeah, truly. And I wonder if they're going to open up avenues towards like learning Druidic or something like that.
That'd be cool.
Well, I mean, yeah. Okay, so you hit my old man heart a little there when you said that.
Okay, but, go ahead.
I mean, no. All options are fine, of course. Half of me goes, well, the DM can always make that decision, right?
Right.
But yeah, also the DM can also always say no. So if a DM decides they want to say no to Thieves' Cant, which I don't know why you would, but if the DM decided to do that, they could. So there's no reason not to open it up to like the Druid secret language and things like that. So yeah, absolutely.
All additions are just broadening horizons. The DM can do whatever.
Right, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Well, we already had something.
My knee jerk as an old man was no, not Druid.
Yeah, fair.
But no, I mean, yeah, absolutely. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. That gets into it. So we'll talk about the first level feats right here too. Just as a thing, in the aforementioned 3.5, there were requirements to feats.
Yeah.
And sometimes those requirements were other feats.
Okay.
So there was no way you were getting that feat until you were X level.
So you were definitely level 4. Yeah.
Well, no, in 3.5 you could get feats faster.
Okay.
Like fighters could get feats faster. They got them along. The point being though was that they were leveled even if they weren't leveled, and even then I do actually believe they were leveled. I'd have to break out the player's handbook.
Yeah, they're definitely like
They definitely had level requirements to them because they had power scales.
they're definitely more like Eldritch. What is the
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The warlock stuff. Correct.
What? Yeah,
Mhm.
with all the prerequisites.
So yeah, and then over here on this side we've got the origin thing. You can be any size now, so any
Yeah.
race can be any size, which is great. Expect a small tabaxi NPC in your future with cute little bean toes.
Yeah.
I intend to. But then over here we're getting into the idea of the ability scores and the background things, and the fact that your background now determines your bonuses to your stats.
Yeah, because races don't do that anymore.
Correct.
They've
Which
gotten
is
rid of all
Yeah.
Fine,
modifiers.
because that tracks.
No, I like that a lot.
Because there's always the joke that, the big farmer working guy has always got more muscles on him and has got concentration, got strength, and that sort of thing. And maybe he's low on dex or what the hell have you, right? But he's just a human just like me, and I didn't get any bonuses.
Yeah. No, it seems like your background explaining what you've done up until this point should have much more of
A
an
larger
effect
effect
on your abilities
correct.
than
Definitely.
Yeah.
just what you were born into.
Definitely. But yeah, I really enjoyed how they described in the mixed lineages section that like a race is just a stat block that you're gonna like take, and your character, like the details of your character, what they look like, etc., etc., is all just detail. And the main part of a race is just the stat blocks, the mechanical gameplay of it all, and they didn't really assign any like specific lore characteristics or race or phenotypical characteristics to them. I think that's just a good step forward towards opening the horizons for what this can be.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about in the beginning about how this really just expanded the options of everyone. Because now, I mean, you can do anything as far as customization goes for your character.
Yeah, I agree. But while we're talking about races, let's talk about some of the in specific things we've seen. Let's talk about the fact that they're going to build in inspiration
Yeah.
into humans. Right?
Yeah,
Can't do it. Whatever.
they're
Right there.
really gunning for inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that.
I'm gonna have to stop being an old man about it.
That's just giving
Yeah,
an
I mean-
advantage on
Mhm.
any roll you choose, as long as you say it before you do the roll.
Yeah, I believe. I don't know. That
I know it discusses it further down.
okay. So yeah,
There's another. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the humans getting inspiration once a long rest. That just means they get it's
Mhm.
fine. It's no
Yeah.
big deal.
They
I mean-
lost their, or do they still get a feat after?
They still get a feat,
Okay.
which is pretty insane.
So you can now
Um,
start off with 2 feats. in theory.
Admittedly, only first level feats, but
Yeah.
that still puts like humans like once again on like the
Do they
pedestal.
still get
more
a feat?
insane.
You gain the
I
skill
believe so, one
feat or another first level feat of your choice,
So
which is your race, and as long as your custom background gives you a feat.
in your custom background
Yeah.
will give you
Yeah.
a feat.
Every-
Probably right.
See, at least you
Yes.
can pick here though, because custom backgrounds, as far as I've seen, you don't get to pick anything. They're all very specified.
That's why you make a background that has the feat.
Yeah, you create your own.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
so anyhow, so yeah, then there's the Ardling. Do not expect this anytime soon, and at least at least one of the worlds that we play in, because there's not been a lot of that.
Yeah.
That being said,
I'm
it's
not-
light
Well,
from the
that's
big-
actually
from the
not as bad
get-go.
as you think that it is. If you read it again,
I'm not worried about the features of the Ardling. I'm also just not as inspired. I don't like.
okay,
It
yeah,
feels a little left field, all things considered.
Could you just like
and we already have an ASMR like
Right. That's why they
upper
felt like they
plane
needed the
creature.
balance.
could you just like as a monk, like grapple someone and like fly up? And then since like at
Yeah.
the end of the turn you lose your wings, you both just start falling. But
Yeah,
you just
could,
you just
but
slow
it's
fall
only
yourself.
30 feet.
Yeah, it is.
And that's another thing is that this is basically Misty Step. This is basically, it's not that bad. It's not like, when at first I was like, I worry about wings. Wings are a dangerous thing to give anybody. Flight is a power reserved for much later in the levels, let alone
Yeah.
a first level character, if you're not prepared for it.
Mhm.
This isn't that.
And
This
it's
is like
only-
Misty Step at first level. It's no big deal.
Right.
It's only
Yeah.
twice
Right, yeah. But
from the beginning.
from the beginning. It's no big deal. It's all right. I'm not worried about it too much. And then I think that was the only thing that jumped out at me that was like, everything else is
Dragonborns are
fine.
the same,
Breath
right?
weapon for the dragon. Yeah,
They always
fine.
had dark vision.
They
I don't know.
I
They
went
always had
back,
dark.
I
yes.
thought
Yes, they did. They did.
Yeah.
Okay.
They went back though. So in the Fizban's like Treasury of Dragons book, they
Uh-huh.
said that the breath attack could be a part of the attack action. So
Uh-huh.
you could use one attack to make a breath attack, and then your extra attack to make a regular weapon attack. But they went back on this edition and just said that your breath weapon is a full action again, which I thought was pretty lame. I wasn't entirely with that.
Okay.
I think
Is it tougher to do more
I mean,
damage? The
it
DC
does.
is
So
different,
it does
right?
your
The DC's modified,
Uh,
right?
that's gonna be 10.
A plus con plus prof. I think that's
Sounds normal, right?
regular. I don't know. Actually.
Yeah, but I thought the DC
Um,
in the at least in the very, got the player's handbook, right? Bloody there.
Right.
Yeah, we'll look her up because
That's
for some
an
reason I
action.
thought it was static, and it kind of was annoying after a while. But none of you
It
have
might
played
be,
a
yeah.
Dragonborn, and I've never played a Dragonborn. So
But
no,
they
it's the
primarily
same. It's
stayed
the same.
same,
DC
right?
stayed the same.
Dragonborns in
Yeah,
general.
the damage is different.
Yeah. The
I'd
damage.
say the damage
yeah.
is 1d10 plus your character level. That's all right. Because here the damage stays a static basically.
Okay.
Like it goes
Yeah,
up with
I
your
do.
level, but not like that. So
Okay.
we'd have to break out the math. It was 2d6 then 3d6. There's a lower bottom on this one, which I'm not the biggest fan of. Well, no, 2 to 10, 2 to
Character
12.
level and damage.
I think they lowered the damage if I think about it.
I've never seen like a damage.
No, yeah, they did.
They
worded
lowered
like
the
this.
damage. Yeah, they lowered the damage. I had to do the math.
It scales with
interesting.
you pretty nicely,
I mean, I
but
think
also like,
yeah.
I mean, it only ever stays a.
but it only. I feel
1d10.
like it mechanically only works as an extra attack action.
No, honestly, it doesn't seem like it scales to later. later
But it does mean your minimum gets less
Yes.
or gets
yeah.
more.
Your minimum gets less,
Like-
and I think that's help. Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
The minimum you
Um,
can do is always gonna be super high,
yeah, that's all right.
but
that I think
you just
about it.
can't do too much because you only
Right.
get the D10.
You're gonna get 6 plus D10 at 6th level, so
So
16, which is, and that's if we do the average of 10 is 5, so you're gonna do 11 average 6 damage.
yeah, but
At 6th level,
regardless,
you get 3d6 under the old rules, so the average of that is 369. Okay. I think it's a wash.
No, you're right.
I think it's a wash
and
with a better minimum.
it's always gonna hit at least half of it. I don't know. I feel like
It
they could have been
works
stronger. I
as
agree.
an attack, but not as a full action.
Okay,
No, that's fair.
I hear you. You'd like to see it back as an attack?
Yeah.
Although at first level, I think it's completely fine as like an attack. There are plenty of
At first
characters that
level,
just do
an
that.
action and an attack is the same object. It's
Yeah.
okay. But even then, like, if you are, I mean, like that at first level, that thing is only helpful if you are not a fighting class. 1d10 plus 1 is a ridiculous number and only like helps if you're a sorcerer or a
You're
wizard.
definitely getting bad
or-
bonuses.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
beginning, yeah. It's a long haul
Yeah.
character as far as that goes. And I say long haul, 6th, 7th level, you start feeling
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, I'm going to
Yeah.
do 7 minimum damage. That's nice.
which is great.
The
Yeah.
AoE is nice,
Yeah,
but
AoE 's
also
nice
it's
too.
not.
But it's not a big AoE.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
No,
think
it's
in
just
general,
15.
I think now that I'm thinking about it, I like the fact that the base goes up. That's nice. The top end will never be hot, which I don't know that it ever was. I agree with you, Phoenix, that it should be an action. That's what number of times you go. It should be an action, as opposed to
Yeah.
or not an action, an attack, not an
Attack.
action. So you
Yeah.
can do it as part of your attack. That'd be great because that replaces a weapon
Yeah.
attack. I don't know because yeah, make it and also do you think they made it an action so that someone couldn't spell and then do this like to, you know,
But then you will
burning
if
hands
you
and
if
then
you were
breath weapon.
Does that not just does the
but
breath not
spelling is an
weapon-
attack.
Okay, right. It's a good
Yeah.
point. You have to do a full attack.
They've balanced this before, you know. Like
No,
this
you're
this
right.
is their thing.
You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think they hit the nail on the head with Fizzbands. I'm wondering if they're just setting this out there and are planning on going back to it and reinstalling Fizzbands.
well, that's what all this is. This is playtest stuff. So,
Right. Yeah.
and in our just last 5 minutes of like running the numbers, we found that the math works out maybe towards your better because of the bottom end damage, but we'd like
Yeah.
to see it as an attack action
kind of works like a build
Yeah.
curve?
so that you could, yeah,
It's kind of bad beginning and late.
so that you could
Yeah.
swing a sword and breathe fire. That'd be cool.
That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I like that. All right, moving on. The dwarf is can see in the dark. You beat him to the punch there, Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they also got Shimmer Sense.
Yeah. See in the dark.
Yeah,
That's
that
what I'm
is
saying. You
insane.
beat him to the punch. So yeah, then elves. I'm not sure that anything jumped out at me. The interesting thing about the elf was the here it is. This stuff right here.
Oh,
It's like you choose your lineage. Are you a
Yeah.
drow lineage? Are you a high elf lineage? Or a wood elf lineage? So they kind of chose like the theme of the three.
they definitely combined a
Yeah.
lot of races like
Yeah.
that were kind of separated.
Yeah, they're not going heavy into sub races and things like that.
No.
They
right.
made things a bit more simplistic for that
Which is fine because
because you
Because-
can already customize.
they give you the tools to build your own, which
Yeah.
is more than fine. Be simplistic because you give
Yeah.
you the tools otherwise. So yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and then nothing jumping out at here.
No.
Pass without trace makes sense. Long strider is just not a great spell though.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's fine. It's just free, and that's great. And Druidcraft is cool too, but it's just not a great spell in the first place. But that's fine. That's just an opinion. And
Pass that choice is really good.
oh yeah, no, pass without
So,
trace.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna hate on that at all. Then gnomes, and they've got the Tinker Gnome again, which
I
you know,
think I like the prestidigitation basis.
Where? Oh,
That so
yeah, right.
yeah.
you just know two of the cantrips. Oh, if you're a rock.
Yeah, I liked that.
Okay.
Yeah,
because the rock gnome used to have like a set of like little tinker toys that they could make that had different effects.
yeah,
But this one just gives you a kind of an artificer-y deployable prestidigitation.
right.
So you can choose to prepare some prestidigitation devices in advance and
Yeah.
hand them out to your party should they need it.
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, it's fine. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of a Tinker Gnome anyway, so
Yeah.
exactly. So, but Halfling's cool.
But-
like we went back. I think we kept Halfling more or less exactly the same.
No, it
they're,
looks
they're
same.
stealthy. They have luck. They're Halflings.
What,
I mean, the only thing you're missing is that they can produce second breakfast.
Does it say you can hide behind?
It does not, but
Halflings can hide behind bigger creatures, can't they?
yes.
That was with their
that
that
was
was
with one
depending
of
on
their
your
subs.
subclass,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
which they've ditched.
Oh,
Yeah,
here
they
you can
have
move
gotten
your
rid of
space larger.
Yeah.
But and then you got
I think it
brave.
just looks like they gave you proficiency in stealth instead of being able to hide
Mhm,
in
mhm.
more places.
Yeah.
I don't remember the proficiency in stealth.
Orc, which is cool. I'm glad
Yeah.
we're doing more things. I like the adrenaline rush. That's
Yes.
fun.
Oh, that is cool.
It's like a little,
Okay.
Yeah.
Tiefling
yeah. And then there's,
has a lot of.
oh yeah. So here you go, kiddo. Chthonic tiefling.
Yes.
I know you're a fan of
Yes.
tentacles.
It's not Chthonic. Chthonic is underworld.
Oh
Yeah, fiendish.
Hades.
yeah.
Not Cthulhu.
I was thinking Cthulhu. Sorry, my knee jerk on that.
It's
one.
good.
I saw it and I kept going. I was like, okay, Chthonic, that's odd. I'm moving. I'm going through. Okay, I take it all back. Now I need Cthulhu.
No, I think I'm good. I think Chthonic is fine. I
Okay.
think they really hit the nail on the head. No tentacles needed.
Yeah, right. And then, of course, we've got their traits, their Fiendish Legacy, which we've more or less seen before, and the various things there. You gain first level chosen legacy. At third level, you gain different abilities, just like with the races of elves.
Yeah.
Nothing in here jumps out as being like, oh, that's dangerous, or oh, I don't like that, or anything like that for me. Backgrounds.
No, I'm.
This is what
Yes.
really changed.
Sorry, you were going to say something?
Nothing more than just placative. Yeah, this is all same old, same old.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Backgrounds are the things that really got tinkered with.
Yeah, backgrounds got, like, they really thought about
Yes.
what backgrounds needed to do.
Oh, I'm now just looking at standard languages and rare languages.
Yeah, there's a whole chart down at the bottom we'll get to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So, yeah.
besides giving the feats,
Yeah, you get a feat, you get a language, you get a tool, you get a couple of skills, and you get some ability scores. That's pretty much standard across all of them.
yeah. And I
Which-
think the wording's all the
Yeah.
same.
And pretty much the wording's all the same. Didn't really change a whole lot that anything. Although they did add some new things, like what was the one that?
Entertainer, was that one?
Yeah, that was one.
That was-
What was I thinking?
Yes.
Guide.
Guide's new.
Cultist.
Guide's
Guide was
definitely
new.
new.
Guide. Yeah.
Yeah, Cultist was another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was up here somewhere. I forgot. I lost him, but he's around here somewhere.
Guard? Is Guard one?
Guard is new. So is
Guard's
laborer and farmer.
Yeah, labor and
Pilgrim.
Farmer's definitely new, yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if any of them really jumped out at me.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, you know,
These two would be
What
new
I-
as well.
Do think is cool is that they all have a tool proficiency. I think we're going a little further into tool proficiency stuff, and I'm always down for that.
yeah,
That's really
I'm super
nice.
glad. I may have seen, and I just have forgotten, but I don't think I saw
Mhm.
gaming set on hardly any of them.
That's really
There was
nice.
one for noble, but noble I will give it to because
Right,
they're
or
useless.
entertainer even maybe because
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying though is that was like their
Yeah.
default. If they didn't know what to do for a thing, they gave you either a musical instrument or a game set. you
No,
know?
I'm glad they're like
Yeah.
promoting the actual tools of the
Yeah,
game.
exactly. Tools of the game. Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, all's good. So here you go. Here's your languages, right? These are your
Okay,
standard
yeah.
languages. And these are your
Interesting.
rare languages. There's common sign languages, standard language. Whereas Thieves' Cant, which is down here, is your rare language.
Okay.
And the idea is it's a restricted language.
Yeah.
Why Sylvan is considered a rare language, I don't know. But
I mean, Fey
well,
and
because they
such.
have Elvish up here.
Yeah.
Okay.
right.
That's fine. I always kind of conflated the two. Maybe that's on me.
I think it's probably a little racist.
There's Druidic for you, kiddo, right under Dragonic.
Is it actually? Oh well, never mind. You can get druidic.
There you go.
But how do you get access
Yeah.
to the rare languages? Is it just by picking a background?
The
or-
background
You can.
say,
It's
yeah. if you
yeah.
have
Background says common or rare. You can just
common
get one
rare
language.
languages, Yeah. Probably based on,
Yeah.
like, for instance, a laborer probably is not going to have a rare language, but a noble knight or a acolyte may have access to a rare language
Mhm.
because they studied it, right?
Yeah.
So just think about who has access to knowledge, and that's who has access to.
I'm
rare
glad
languages.
that we have wrapped up primordial instead of doing like 4 individual
Oh,
elemental dialects.
I thought that had always been a
'Cause we-
thing, or was that a recent thing?
You know, so primordial was primordial from the get go, but then we kind of branched off as new editions arrived. as new adventures and such arrived. So there was like Aquan and Arin and Ignin and
I don't
Terran.
think I paid
And-
any attention to any of that. I think I just kept it
Yeah,
primordial.
no. But I'm glad we're back to basics.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
No, they were able to simplify a lot of the not unnecessary stuff,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I hear you. All right, let's look at feats.
the exciting part.
The exciting part. Yay.
Yeah.
So,
Alert is so cool, in my opinion.
alert is cool. You get it at first level, depending
Yeah.
on your, whatever, if you choose it.
hmm
The,
That-
yeah,
I like it.
biggest change was just the initiative swap, which
Initiative swap.
I didn't know I
So
needed
crazy.
in this game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, rolling initiative, it just feels like the roll doesn't entirely matter.
No,
For the
no,
most
initiative doesn't matter. It's only for setting order.
But this
But with this,
this
it can
makes
start
there
to
a
matter
little bit more
bit.
strategy in the setup.
Yeah, and which is
Which is
Adds
great.
more agency.
You know, if
Yeah.
you're a spellcaster who just like
who wants to
doesn't
hold
want
off,
to go
who
first.
doesn't want to go first.
You know, give it to your barbarian. It makes the action a lot better, I think, for the alert feat.
I agree. Also, if like for instance, let's say the Astor families, you guys,
Yeah.
you and Riley and Phoenix here, you guys, characters decide that something would be better in a different order.
Yeah.
Because that's how you
Yeah.
guys play.
What I wish was kept from the alert feat was just the +5 to initiative that it had.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because then
But
if you can almost like give yourself a better initiative and then also have the ability to swap it out, because if you're in the middle of the initiative order, I don't see much reason to swap it out. So I kind of wish they had kept maybe not +5, maybe like a +3 or something.
It doesn't matter. Immediately after you roll your initiative, you can swap your initiative with the initiative of one willing ally in the same combat. So you swap it with the person whose initiative is nearest to where you want to be.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. You don't need a +5.
No, I agree. I just
You don't need that +5
to give somebody to almost pick somebody to go first
I see.
is kind of what I meant.
That's what you're looking.
Making it a lot
Right.
better than what it is.
I see what you're saying,
Yeah.
but
you still get a plus, but it's gonna take a while to ramp up to it
No,
being
yeah. I like it how it is. I don't think it got any worse. I just think it got more fun.
Yeah.
I agree.
I will miss the days of just being completely unsurprisable to all events all the time.
Oh
But,
yeah. No, I do.
that probably was a little bit of a broken ability. I'm not even gonna
Oh,
lie.
it was a headache, man. Think about trying to plan
Yeah.
surprise around that sort of thing. It's and who knows? It may not be
Ridiculous.
gone for good. It's just gone for now.
This next feat really
Yeah.
interests me.
Crafter?
Yeah, I really did. enjoy
Really?
it.
Yes.
I enjoyed
Oh,
it.
I know Phoenix, you did.
Well,
Yeah.
I felt like
definitely.
it could have been a lot more than what it was. I feel like it could have been a lot better.
Okay.
But I enjoyed what they were doing with it. I really did.
Okay. Well, how do you think it'd be
I
better?
think it's
What? Yeah, sorry, Beast. What were you asking?
no. Go ahead. Well, I would say that I think it's interesting that we're making people do math now.
I agree.
Um,
I agree. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I like the more numbery, like, I don't know.
No, you two definitely like the crunch, which is why
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
also liking being DMs.
I just, to answer your earlier question, when you buy a non-magical item, you receive a 20% discount on it.
Uh-huh.
And it's also a 20% discount for reducing the time. I just feel like that isn't
Not enough.
heavy. It's not heavy enough for like
20? I mean,
20%. I just don't feel like it.
okay.
Unless the game
yeah.
is centered around like that happening a lot,
So you
which
haven't played in some of
Correct.
the parts of things
Yeah.
where we've done where, for instance, one of Phoenix's characters, Mantonine, was a crafter.
Mhm.
And that's kind of what he did on his downtime was craft things. And being able to do things faster is super nice.
yeah. I
So-
maybe wish 25-30%.
I don't know. It's 1/5 the time, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. If something takes 5 days, now it takes 4.
No, you're right.
I mean, if something takes 8 hours, which by the way some potions do,
Yeah.
Now
I was
it's-
thinking much more small scaled, like takes a minute to mend.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, maybe I want
That's
not
not
a minute, like a
that's not
Um,
quite what this is for.
I'm not going
Yeah.
to disagree though. I think 20% is a little. I mean, the block of time when it comes to shelling out like when a character can do something, 2 hours difference in an 8 hour time frame doesn't like if characters can already give 8 hours time, they can probably like if they can give 6 hours time, they can also probably give 8 hours time.
I see what you're
Or
saying.
I just feel like if you're
yeah,
specialized, you're gonna be faster than the average.
yeah. I think honestly, I mean, not that I'm against going into a little more mathy territory,
Uh-huh.
but
uh-huh.
I honestly feel like a half is appropriate.
A half.
Maybe not for great projects. I mean, if you're taking a year to do something
Uh-huh.
different, but
Yeah.
like
Right.
a week to 2.5 days is I feel,
But
or like
again,
3.
if there's
Yeah,
a project somebody has to take and it takes a year, if you're a master in doing that project, I don't see it
you
taking
should
much
take
more than
6
6
months.
months, you know.
I can't begin to tell you, honestly. My knee jerk says
That could be
that if
dangerous.
something should take a year and you're really good at it,
Yeah.
then maybe it shouldn't. Then half seems too far.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because,
I could go with a fourth.
but like, and like for a good
I
example,
agree realistically.
a potion, you can only make things boil so fast.
Yeah.
You know.
I agree realistically,
Yeah.
but
Well.
also I think
Yeah. You're right.
gameplay wise, yeah,
No, but I really did enjoy the feat.
Yeah, I think so. I like
Yeah.
it. I like where they're going
Yeah.
with
I
it.
thought the discount thing was cool.
Yeah, I like the discount thing, and
Yeah.
I like the reducing time thing, despite whether you guys think it's enough or not. Maybe different conversation.
yeah.
But
Oh.
then yeah, so
This
healer
was
is
another
also
one
a
that got
first level
really
ability.
changed. Yeah.
Got the battle medic
Healer,
feat,
okay.
yeah.
This
It-
makes you pretty viable in healing when you're
Yeah,
not
it-
down that route.
Uh-huh. It not that I haven't had many a playing player group who didn't have a healer. Now sometimes maybe you may not need one necessarily.
Yeah, somebody could just pick one
Yeah.
Yeah.
up.
And also it's like lends itself to being helpful to clerics and other healing classes.
yeah.
The
It
healing
really
rules
helps.
extends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Extends their
I mean,
spells. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason to pick it up if
So
you're not
those-
a healer, but there's also a reason to pick it up, which is really good.
It's actually a good point that it does expend your.
Yeah.
It saves your spell slots in those minor instances when you want. Yeah, I like it. Yeah,
This feat's even better
Yeah.
if you are a healer,
Feats-
which is nice.
Which is nice. Yes.
It is interesting. I've like seen and thought of builds that take the thief bonus action, use an object ability.
Uh-huh.
And those became super viable with the old healer. I'm curious to see how
Yeah.
advanced it's going to get from here with this.
Right. It would definitely take. Yes.
This
Yeah.
one was
Because
interesting.
this one,
What,
yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Well, we've moved on to Lucky, kiddo. Sorry.
Sorry,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
Nope. I just scrolled is all.
not to throw you off.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
But this one was weird to me. The way it's worded, it seems a little bit different, like the things you can use Lucky for.
hmm
I don't understand why they're allowing it to be more than 3.
Oh. You mean why?
Well, because now you can have up to 7 luck points, right? So I have
You have a number of luck points
6.
equal to your proficiency
6.
bonus. Yeah, you can spend the points on the
Yeah.
benefits below. And you can
It's only making it 1 worse in the beginning, but then it matches and it even exceeds what it was previously, which I don't think there was any problem with having 3 times in a day. I didn't think it needed to be more.
Yeah.
know.
No, I agree.
I don't know that it matters. Okay, so here's the deal, right?
Yeah.
Because what is a luck roll, right? Basically, it's advantage, right?
Or disadvantage on something
disadvantage
rolling
else,
against
right.
you.
Okay, so let's look at the disadvantage first.
Yeah.
You can impose disadvantage on the DM a handful more times. from the DM point of view, okay, it's just funny when you guys do it, right? It's like, oh, all right, fine. That's that's cool. That's fine. Because it's just fun and funny. Us
Yeah.
DMs like being outwitted by our players. That's the truth. But from a player point of view, I mean, you guys know that you guys are clever enough, and even the newer players at our table are clever enough, Riley, etc.
Yeah.
It's clever enough to find ways to get advantage.
I
There is
agree.
no end of finding ways to gain advantage. So the fact that you have bought a feat that allows it to just gives it to you, 2, 3, 4, etc. times, so what? I'm not hung up on it as a
But
DM.
I agree
I
that in
will
like a
say,
combat sense, like advantage is easy to come by, but that just makes it to where you're specifying. What's so good about Lucky is that you can decide to do it after you've already rolled, after you've already seen what the answer will be.
you're effectively getting 3 more inspiration a day for
Exactly.
free, or 2 more inspiration a day, then 3, then 4, then 5, and 6.
Exactly. And
For
that's still you can impose disadvantage. So if you know you're gonna get hit
yeah,
by
it's
something,
upgraded.
just make a
Yeah.
disadvantage. And that's not just for combat though, that's also for I believe just ability checks too, right?
Yeah, it said any,
Just
any,
just
any,
anything.
D20, any D20 test. Which
Yeah.
PS we're talking about? Does that mean magic surges?
A
Or
D20
D20
test
test?
is just a D20 roll, right?
Right.
So I
So
mean it's anything.
under wild surge, when you have to roll the D20, is that a test? Feels like it.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I don't actually. It doesn't. So D20 test specifically says
It's at the bottom of
a
that article there.
yeah. I believe it's specifically saving throws, attack rolls, and
Okay.
checks.
All right.
Okay.
So I don't
PS, I don't
think
hate the
that
idea that it
wild
adds
may.
wild surges. That's fun.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
But
that's a fine rule.
even with saving
But
throw, having 7 chances at a really high level, 6 chances at a really high level character to roll a saving throw again is great. I mean,
yeah,
if you're not like a
I mean,
fighter
yeah,
or something,
I agree. It's
it's
great.
just really good.
Yeah.
Much better than 3 times. So
By almost twice.
yeah,
yeah,
Depending
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
level, though, right?
this feat I think scales really well. Like
Yeah.
really, really well now.
Yeah, well, clearly, because they've in
Yeah.
theory, they've done the proficiency bonus right, so it will scale well. Because proficiency bonus things scale well.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Magic Initiate. So it's I don't think it's changed.
Have we
really
been
at all.
looking at the prerequisites? We haven't
We haven't been looking at
encountered
prerequisites.
any so
No,
far.
I don't know
yet.
if we've. No, it's first levels aren't going to have prerequisites. If we want, we could. Let's
Just making sure.
Like- the initiate. Did you see Inspiring Song?
Yeah.
yes, yes.
I don't hate it. It's fun.
Um,
I like it.
No, I really like it.
I will say, Magic Initiate has the first repeatable quality
It
in the
does.
feat so far, which and also gets into different spell lists like Arcane, Primal, and Divine,
Mhm.
which is a fun little. I'm into that. I'm glad we're going back to
Just 3
to
lists.
sorting it out in that way.
Right. Trying to think the last time they had something like that might have been second edition.
Really,
Yeah, there was the priest spell list, and then there was the arcane
Yeah.
spell list, and you had
Yeah.
spears, and you had schools.
Spells have always been a lot and really messy. And I'm glad
and they're
it's
still
just under.
messy. So,
They are still a bit messy, but I'm glad it's simplified just a little bit.
So to that
yeah.
end,
I loved this one. This was
The Tavern
probably my
Brawler?
favorite one
Yeah?
that I saw. Yeah.
okay.
Tavern
we
Brawler,
like the
yes.
furnitures as weapons.
I loved the furniture as weapons. But obviously Shove was crazy, in my
Yes.
opinion.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Because
So
yeah, it's just hitting them now. It's just an
You-
attack
you
action.
got this as an open hand monk.
Yeah.
So
But now you just get this. It's any.
yeah, well that's important because now is it stepping on the toes of an open hand monk, or
No.
you get something like this that's an open hand monk. I'll admit I'm a little.
Open Hand Monk, you can do a flurry of blows and do 15 feet. You get a 15-foot burst on someone.
Okay. You can knock them 15
But
feet
on
away.
this one,
So this isn't
yeah,
quite
this
the
one you can
same.
only
Okay.
do. Yeah.
All right.
Damage
So you can take both
rerolls.
and get the benefit for both. What?
Damage rerolls also is really cool. Just because
Savage attacker? Yeah.
just because you're going to be rolling d4s for like most of your unarmed strikes. So just to have that 1 in 4 chance to reroll.
Right. We're talking about
hits.
Tavern Brawler.
Yeah.
Savage Attacker
Oh, okay.
is the
Gotcha.
same
Sorry.
thing, though. You get that
Not the other
ability
one.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because this you get to reroll it just as many times as
As long as you roll once.
yeah. There's no like proficiency like cap or anything.
Well, it says you must use the new roll.
Yeah.
But aside
So
from
for that attack action, you can do it once. But you're rolling a d4, you're probably going to roll a lot of ones. You're probably not going to roll one again. It's just really nice just to have.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, advantage on damage is nice.
Yeah.
Which is what we're talking
Because,
about.
I mean, you already get shoved. And the furniture's weapons is just really cool.
uh-huh.
Classic.
Then there's tough, which is
Tough never
standard.
really
It's fine.
Interested
Yep.
me,
That was always good. Yeah.
So then there's all this stuff. This is the glossary. We're down into the glossary.
Yeah.
It's just giving us information. But here's the thing we need to talk about: the D20 test.
Okay, yeah, this is such a weird name.
Yeah, so it's now a test as opposed to, well, I mean, beforehand it was a check, it was a saving throw, or it was, something else. It was an attack roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now they found a terminology for what does it mean when I pick up my D20 and I roll it.
Yeah.
So that's fine, I guess. You're doing a D20 test with a weapon, I guess. You're doing a D20 test. You're making a saving throw. You're doing a D20 test as a skill. I don't know.
Yeah, climbing a wall for a d20 test.
Yep. So the
Um,
DM determines whether the D20 test is warranted in any given situation.
No
To
less
be
than 5.
warranted, the D20 must have a target
That's
of
interesting.
less than 5. So if it's less than 5, it's presumed you do this.
Yeah.
Which is to say, that's
Right.
I think that's a gentle reminder to us DMs not to make it you guys roll for everything under the sun and stars.
Okay, so I was trying to make less
Yeah.
rolling.
Which I think is a good idea. And anyhow, every time you pick up a die to roll it, while it's fun, it slows everything up just a drop.
Yeah.
So
It does.
every time you got to roll that die, you have to wait for the outcome.
And some things your characters should just be able to do.
And something your player should be able to do. So, yeah.
Because now, if they roll a nat 1,
Right.
they automatically fail no matter what. Or
no matter
the
what.
other way
So
around, if you
Yeah.
roll d20.
that's
roll
important
20.
because a lot of DMs have this, like, well, Mercer says it best. Well, you can certainly try.
Yeah, because
Full knowing you're going to fail something, right?
Not everything
Now-
should be possible.
Maybe you shouldn't certainly try, right? Maybe it's like,
No,
it's not
don't
going to
roll.
work. Don't roll. It's not going
Yeah.
to work for you. It's just that's some things are hard and fast, not going to happen.
Because now, based on rules, it can work.
Right. So yeah, or you leave yourself open.
Whatever
to-
success means. I mean, you can give them success and failing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
they cannot die.
There's a
but
limit
succeed.
to what man can do, and you
Mhm.
can give them the best of what that person can
Yeah.
do at that
You
thing.
can have the best luck for failing
regardless
down
of how
the hallway.
possible. Yeah.
Right. So, well, as a reminder to me, I like to tell you, yeah, you can attempt it.
Yeah.
But now I have to be like,
Mhm.
no, you can't attempt that. I'm
No.
sorry. I'll tell you why. Because the DC is so high, you will fail
Normally.
under normal
Back in the old
right?
days.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
This is one of the options I didn't necessarily enjoy.
yeah. Well, see, and that's a conversation about it. Is like, I don't know that I'm a fan.
It's also just a weird thing, in my opinion, to add. 'Cause
Right.
Everything
I
seems to
think-
be expanding your options, but this definitely seemed to be more
To the opposite.
limiting them. I didn't see a reason.
So
I don't-
Let's talk about like the rolling of a d20.
Yeah.
And you roll a 20, you get inspiration. Great, fine. That's a reward for rolling a d20. I'm cool on that. That keeps d20s
Mhm.
exciting, which honestly I feel like is part of the point.
Yeah, everybody loves to roll.
Everyone loves to roll, and everyone loves
Yeah.
to see that 20 pop up. And now we have a reason for it, right? Not only does it mean an auto success of whatever you're doing, now you get a bonus initiative, which is cool and great. I love that.
That's really cool.
But the auto fail, I'm not sure I'm keen on. But
Yeah.
also, what is it? 5% chance and 5% chance.
Yeah.
And we know you guys are good at finding advantage.
Yeah, and plenty
So
of times, to speak of
Yeah.
what we were talking about earlier, I've seen plenty of players roll a nat 20 and just be disappointed because they're like, I wasted this. You know, it was a useless
Yeah.
roll. But now you get something for everything.
the time you're like, oh, I want to see if
Yeah.
I can spot there's a knife somewhere. Or,
Yeah, just
is he
some
selling
stupid
knives?
ability
No. I
check.
want to see if I can spot the other knives.
Yeah.
I roll a d20.
If it's like initiative,
Yeah, rolling
you
d20
don't
out
want
of
it,
initiative.
you know. Normally you're just like, damn, that sucks. I wish this was my next throw. But now you get something from it, which is really good.
Yeah.
What I
okay.
will say, and which has been one of my big problems with inspiration, because that's what you like. You can't stack inspiration,
You're right.
so for races like humans, or if you just got inspiration, rolling a d20 reverts back into being a kind of moot point if it wasn't a cool scene for you.
Yeah, you might as well use your inspiration
So burn it when
on
you
the
got it.
on
So-
the good thing that you think
Yeah.
is early.
Yeah.
Definitely don't hold on to it too much.
Yeah, burn it.
Because again, it's just advantage.
Right.
Right, sure.
Yeah, and you're going to come, it looks like you're going to be coming by them a little more fast and
One of
furious.
the weird things I saw though
Don't be
is
afraid to use them.
you have to call it out before you make the initial roll. It's not like lucky.
Yeah,
You
right.
have to say, I'm
roll.
going to use my inspiration on this wall climbing before you roll.
Yeah,
So you really have to.
So that means for experienced players, no big deal. They know when a crucial roll is there or
Yeah.
not. And that means for new players, we need to be a little more lenient
Yeah.
on learning them when is a crucial roll, right?
Yeah, because if a
Right.
new player is looking for something like the DM isn't necessarily, has real good story importance on, and they think it's important, they use their inspiration on it. But you had nothing planned for a good roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
You don't
can't
want
think
them
on the
to.
fly.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
want to just waste it. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. All right. Now the next bit, critical hits.
Yeah.
So the way I read
yeah.
this
Yeah.
where none of us are a fan. Yeah.
Nah.
The way I read this is weapons, so that means any weapon.
Yeah.
And natural weapons. So creatures, druids who have shapeshifted, things like that.
Mhm.
And then unarmed strike. So
Any physical attack.
any physical attack. So any slashing, piercing, bludgeoning.
Yeah.
But not from spells.
Which is.
Right.
Which is the problem, I feel.
Yeah.
Beast, you got anything?
Listen. I like putting emphasis on being able to attack with weapons and putting emphasis on a weapon attacks, but also robbing the critical hit from the mage and like everything else just doesn't feel right to me. It just doesn't sit right to me.
Yeah.
Because it's a vital like it's a classic, spell that shifts the game. It's just
Oh, yeah.
like when a spellcaster throws a die and gets a natural 20, I don't like it doesn't.
They're not going to be happy.
I have nothing. I have no like intelligent like response to it. Just emotively, just doesn't feel right. You know.
Well, yeah, you're taking away what makes rolling a nat 20 so special for
Yeah.
probably 60-70% of the party in most cases. But what this is
Definitely.
doing is it's doing two things. It's taking it away from the mage to try and balance melee, which is just a bad way of doing it because you're just taking away
Yeah.
something, you're not adding something. But it's also taking
Precisely.
away from the creature's ability to crit. And I know I've personally never rolled a nat 20 behind the screen, but
Yeah.
it's from a player's perspective, there's something about knowing that any creature can crit and kill you that like builds the anticipation.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. So actually, it's
Yeah.
interesting. You said two things. One, I say it's interesting because you're young to the game and you're young to the system and that sort of thing. So for starters, yeah, it's a cheap thrill from the DM side to
Yeah.
get a crit
Yeah.
and spook you guys, right? It's a
Because you
cheap
make it
thrill.
just the coolest
but
move.
It's fun
Yeah.
because I can make it now. I can make up a fun little kind of and I get you good
Yeah.
kind of thing. And the secondarily part of that with the cheap thrill is that it makes my job a little easier when the dice can help me tell the story.
Yeah.
So
No, that's
in
the part
any
people are
job-
going to remember.
right,
It's the
exactly.
attack people are going to remember.
Anything that can make my job as the DM or your guys' jobs as the DMs easier is nice. So, and it's a little thing, and I can
Yeah.
give up crits for myself personally. No big deal. What I dislike is that, like, it's known that you don't have crits now. Like, I could always
Yeah.
make that a private rule. I'm not going to crit on my players.
But you just don't tell
I just don't tell them, so they never know, right?
them. Because that would make it better
And that
without taking.
lowers the that
their
lowers
anticipation.
my anticipation of worrying about accidentally TPKing.
That's why I think they added it.
Right, but
for
maybe
a little less stress. and
Instead
fear.
of that, just reminder to the DM in the little gray box. Say, look, you don't got to crit on people.
Yeah.
You don't have to follow.
You
Yeah.
don't have to. I've seen people, if they get a crit, they save it for later.
Okay,
They-
for a more
they-
epic moment.
For better moment.
Yeah, see?
And they just don't crit then.
That
I
mean,
I've
that's-
seen different ways that it could work. I just disagree with just taking it out.
I do
because you
too.
can't think
For
of
the
it.
second reason you said, it's funny because in first and second edition D&D, part of their way of balancing things was to create negatives in things.
Yeah.
The barbarian leveled way slower than all the other classes because they were so front end loaded and so powerful. When they went into third edition, they learned that lesson
Okay.
that you shouldn't create a negative to balance something.
Yeah.
So, to your argument, in theory, Wizards of the Coast has already learned this lesson not to create a negative if that's what they're trying to do is balance spells to melee, which we don't we don't know what they're up to, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going to go in and tweak all the damn spells. Yeah, you doubt it. So do I. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
But-
mean, again, the spells are doing just fine without the crit. It's not like it's making mages worse in any way.
I
No.
agree.
It's just making less. It's making less fun on a nat 20 because melee classes crit more regardless because they attack more.
Because they attack more.
Mages,
It's
you know,
easier for
they
them to
attack
get
once, they
advantage and
attack
things
twice.
like that.
Most,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like most spells, like above like second level, just start using saves.
You're right, saving throws.
Most are not.
You're
Yeah,
not-
are not
yeah.
attack.
You're not rolling the attack
Like maybe
die
disintegrate.
that much
Yeah.
to get a crit.
There's only a few spells, firebolt, to hits. What is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, your cantrips, your
Cantrips and things like that. And your cantrips are your bread and
Yeah.
butter, and maybe you should let them keep those as crits.
I agree.
Yeah.
because, I mean,
And
Not
like
being
I
able
said,
to
if
crit on
they
a cantrip
rework
is
spells a little
responsive.
bit to incorporate this concept, that's fine. If you
again,
say
yeah,
cantrips can crit, and you rework everything else to not be a hit except for the big hitters, which may be okay. But like, what's that? The lightning spell? You have to hit with that.
the lightning lure.
Is it lightning alert that you have to roll to hit?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Most
It's
of
a
the
D12.
Oh, witch bolt.
Is it which
Is it?
witch bolt? That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, witch
Witch
bolt,
bolt. Yeah, yeah,
which is mean and fun to get a crit on.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
We all love rolling that 2D12. That's a blast.
No,
Or
because
more.
I
Yeah.
felt like while meleeers often got more crits, their crits mattered less because they roll less high die.
Mm-hmm.
They just roll more often.
Right.
I don't know. I didn't like it personally. I thought it just took away.
Yeah, critical
Um,
hits. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but there's still time for them to rework around. That's what this is for.
Maybe just make crits better for melee builds while still giving crits to mages and monsters. If
Is there?
Yeah.
that'd be a
Am I
better way, in my
missing-
opinion.
And because of the tables I play at, am I missing that there's a big, like, power difference between spellcasters and meleeers? with their crits, etc. Because
I don't think so.
okay,
I think crits are so rare, and again, it balances itself because while melee crits more, their crits matter less.
well, not matter less.
They're less die. They don't roll as high die as
they
mage.
don't roll.
mages.
Yeah, they're not rolling 8d6.
A monk's gonna roll an extra d4. What does that really mean?
Right.
You know,
Yeah. Gotcha.
fighter's gonna roll another
Yeah.
d6. I mean,
Yeah. Especially if they have it now,
Or
because now you don't get the bonus. Like you're not seeing the sneak attack doesn't get double diced now, as I understand it.
really?
Yeah.
See, that just doesn't make sense to me
Yeah.
either. I don't know. They should definitely, in a way, try to make critical hits better for the melee class.
I
And
definitely
just keep
agree,
it
but
for
they
all
can't.
other classes.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, right.
I think
WOTC and
they
Theory,
should.
we thought WOTC learned this lesson. You don't take away to balance something. You don't nerf something to
Yeah.
balance something. Generally.
Because I mean, rolling an at 20 is the most fun part about combat, roughly, to most people. I
Yeah.
would say.
Right. I'm with you completely. So we've moved on. We're looking at let's see here. It's inspiration. Here's the thing about inspiration, you'll get one at a time so it doesn't stack, right?
Yeah.
So, and then they talk about what the D20 is and that sort of thing. Losing inspiration. If you still have inspiration when you start long rest, you lose that inspiration. So
Sure.
if you get it, so just take short rest, you say.
Yeah.
We're gonna give it to you.
So use your inspiration when you get it.
But if you get inspiration, yeah, you just give it to another player. Not necessarily you're just losing it. So that's good at least for a human maybe not wanting to waste it
What?
as early.
Yeah.
If you get inspiration but you already have it, you just give it to somebody who lacks it.
Okay, right.
So in
only
mixed
one at
tutorial,
a
you don't
time.
necessarily need
If
to
something
spend
gives
it.
you inspiration, you already have it. You can give inspiration to a player in your character who lacks it. That is nice. That's fine.
Yeah, I agree.
I think I missed that entire
It kind
thing.
of I feel like it kind of messes up
No,
the
me too.
roleplay point of like you do something good, you get something.
Yeah, but
Because now you're just giving it to somebody random.
Uh-huh.
But as a mechanic, I like it. So
I think as a mechanic, I
Yeah.
like it too. I've seen, there's been a few games where things like that are where players can reward other players for doing things.
yeah,
So, and that's fine. I always try to avoid that sort of thing because I find the charismatic players are the ones who always get rewarded for shit like that.
Mhm.
While the players who are good players, they're just not loud and
yeah.
they're not Phoenix basically.
Called you that.
Called you loud, kiddo.
Yeah, it's okay.
Always got those points because they're
Yeah.
like, oh, Phoenix is funny. Phoenix is
Now you
always
just
just
give it
front
out
and
to
that sort of
somebody
thing.
else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So yeah, so I don't mind this at all. I don't mind that at all. Goes on to explain. We're scrolling down. Long rest, the benefits of rest, and then explains tremor sense. I think this is all normal stuff. Okay, so here we go. We're going to get into the spells. Phoenix.
Yes.
All right. So as it was defined, because I looked it up and I double checked, arcane spells. The bard is among the arcane spell list,
Okay.
Yes.
which means bards, at least currently, lose a heal. Right? You had access to heal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I say you. I'm thinking of Theobast.
Yeah. There was bards did have a small heal. Mine picked up magic initiate for
Yeah, you picked a magic initiate more,
divinity.
but you did have access to a
Yeah.
small heal, and it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But what I liked about
No.
bards having a heal was that it
Goes along with the jack of all trades.
goes along with the jack of all trades, right?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
That makes sense. You should have the widest array
Right.
of spells.
And so the question is, like, because you can pick up now that healer feat, which is a great feat
yeah.
to have, honestly.
Yeah.
But should you trade your feat to make it for something that, at least I'm of the opinion your class should already have?
if they're gonna do this, then I think that they should offer a magical secrets at first level for
Okay.
bards.
Right? Yes, I track. I
Or
absolutely
something of
agree.
that nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that way you can choose whether you want to be. No, I like that a lot, but that's not
Yeah.
what we're currently seeing. But that would fix this. That would
No.
make this
Yeah.
simple.
I agree.
That would make this simple. And because I don't mind it being like this, for the most part, I don't hate this at all.
No.
But you remember the conversation we've had, right? Where Bard in first edition was basically a prestige class.
Yeah.
It was
The
you
weird.
you had to be multiple classes before you could even be a bard.
Yeah.
And the last class you could be before you called yourself a bard was a druid.
Okay.
So
Just for the-
originally in first edition, bards had druid spells. By second edition, though, they'd scrapped all that idea and they'd gone to arcane. They were arcane spellcasters. And they've been arcane spellcasters since second edition. But I wouldn't mind getting back a little bit to that. Or, like you suggest, kiddo, the secrets.
Yeah. Yeah. I think magical secrets was probably the way to go when it comes to things like this. And also, I mean, we're opening up avenues and closing other ones. So like things like, I mean, I'm with druid and rogues getting their languages tossed in the mix. I wonder if they're going to get a little something extra also,
I'm with you. I don't know. Well, that's another thing.
Yeah.
They're going to have to redo classes a little bit anyway.
Yeah.
Do bards not have bless?
I don't think bards have
No.
ever had
Did
bless.
they not have bless before?
No, they weren't that kind of.
No, I
They
don't
weren't the
think so.
support character, catch of all trades, jack of all
Yeah.
trades, catch of all bullshit.
Yeah. No, I remember that.
I will say it's interesting that because it's a all-inclusive arcane spell list that we're looking at a lot of warlock spells up for grabs.
Yeah, and that's another thing. And I'm not a warlock player, so I'd have to ask a warlock player, someone who likes warlock, how they feel about their spells being. But then again, they've got a whole lot more spells now, though, right?
They still have their own. I thought they still have their own category of spells.
No, they get access to arcane spells.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they'll have access to both Armor of Agathis and whatever Unseen Servant and Thunder Wave.
Yeah.
Which I don't think they had before. I mean,
Yeah.
Warlocks still only have a couple spells, and they still can only cast them like once a day or
Yeah.
something like that. So
Yeah.
But I mean, if it seems like they just got more.
is my brain just shut down. Oh, why did I just forget what I was? What's the damn? I don't play Warlocks.
Yeah. Oh, Eldritch Blast?
Eldritch Blast. It's not in the list.
No. Again, I
It's
thought
not on the list.
Does that mean they're making it a class ability, which they should?
I'm pretty sure they
I'm
are.
wondering.
I thought
Yeah.
it had like a specialized. There was still a specialized warlock thing. I just didn't see it in this
I didn't see it in this either.
document.
Yeah, it's not in here, so that makes me think that Eldritch Blast. I've lost it.
Yeah.
Might just be a class ability now, which, fuck all.
Makes sense because all its class abilities was changing
Yeah.
for Eldritch
Yeah.
Blast.
Yeah.
So it didn't need to be a spell that no one else could really.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Final thoughts? What you got?
I think we skipped something really interesting.
Okay.
Had a slight question
Uh-huh.
for y'all. Do you think? Okay.
Grappled or unarmed?
So
strike?
when you grapple somebody, well, let's start at the top, right?
Okay.
Because I think unarmed strike is amazing right now.
Okay.
Because on your hit, your thing does this. Does this mean that you decide after you hit?
Let's see here. Damage takes bludgeoning. Let's see here. Unarmed strike. Your bonus hit, blah blah blah. On a hit, your unarmed strike causes one of the following
It doesn't
effects.
say before you do that.
No, it definitely just happens after.
So to me, that's really cool. You have a lot more options of what
Just
you can do.
Having unarmed strike give you
Yeah.
these
Yeah,
damage, grapple, and
because-
shove. Yeah.
Well, shove is really
And-
cool. Grapple is really cool because
It's no longer.
it's no longer 5 feet. 'Cause I believe it's 5 feet. It's
Hmm?
it's 15 feet. Right.
And you'll scroll at the very top. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. Up,
Wait.
up. There.
Yeah, they suffer the slow condition, so you can move them up to half your movement speed, which in theory,
The grappler can drag
yeah,
or carry, but the grappler suffers the slowed condition while moving unless you are tiny or escape. Right? Okay.
and you can move people pretty far with that.
15 feet. Well, I guess it all depends on your movement. If you've got,
Yeah.
if you're a wood elf with long strider on,
Also, I enjoyed that you can just like punch 6 people around you and knock them all prone. That's pretty sick.
what? How are you reading that? You either push the target 5 feet away,
Or knock
prone,
them prone.
or knock them prone.
You
To
just punch
shove-
somebody.
Oh,
you technically knock
I
them
heard.
prone.
Yeah, I heard 6 people.
Yeah.
My brain.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're in a combat, you know. You go punch, or
Punch,
kick.
Right.
You
Yeah.
you knock 3 or 4 people
Flurry
down,
of blows and knock 4 people
and then
down.
you got whoever's right next to you in the initiative just has
Okay.
advantage on all of them. I thought that was
I
really
like
cool.
I like to move away from strength contests for
I agree.
for grappling.
I never grappled because it was a strength contest. Most creatures
Yeah.
just have great strength. But I love that it's a
Yeah.
hit because I feel like I can
Or
actually
high dex.
yeah.
Or a dex enough. Yeah.
I actually feel like I can do these things realistically. I feel like I can shove
Uh-huh.
into shove again, into knock you off,
Mhm.
the building.
Yeah.
I just feel like I have a lot more options. But what I wanted to talk about, attack rolls against you have disadvantage or have advantage.
On slowed.
If you grapple somebody and then walk away and get an attack of opportunity against you, that's with advantage now.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
So
you're technically under a condition
if you're under the slowed condition, which grappling does,
and you'd be moving.
attack rolls against you have advantage.
Yeah. And, if you walk over a trap, I guess, you would technically have disadvantage on a dex save.
While you're grappling. This all tracks. This all makes sense.
Yeah. As
You just like
Sorry.
how it makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Now you also
I like how they just said you're under this condition.
you must spend 1 extra movement for every foot you move using
Yeah.
your speed. That's
Mhm.
arguable.
You can carry people 50
Which also
20
helps
feet.
Yeah.
for flight as well. It helps stop the grapple, shoot up, and then kill.
Yeah.
Only 15 feet now, not 30. So you're only
For the Ardling.
No,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
But again,
okay.
if you're
That's
just
fine.
over a cliff,
Yeah.
they're screwed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
But no, I do think,
Okay.
yeah,
No, I hear you. I like it.
I like the options they gave.
I agree. actually.
Specifically to monks, I suppose, because
Mhm.
it's all just unarmed strikes.
Yeah.
But I thought the monk was kind of plain. Punch little damage, punch little damage, punch little damage. I didn't feel like there was too much to do until you get to higher levels. But now it's nice you have 3 options every time you just attack somebody.
I personally don't think you were playing a monk right there. But
That's
that's my
fair.
opinion.
At the very, very low levels,
Okay,
I
maybe.
felt like I was limited
Yeah.
in what I
hear
could
you.
do.
That was also
Um,
early on in your playing, so
Yeah.
you may want to revisit that. But also, it'll be okay. Yeah, we'll figure it out. I hear you. I don't hate this thought process at all.
But no, that's one of the things I enjoyed.
Okay.
It's just having more options for melee.
All right. Anything else there? Anything to add, Phoenix?
All in all, I'm happy with the directions we're heading towards. Stuff I want to work out, stuff that I think should be revised. But truly, I think that nothing here is unfixable by homebrew standards, and probably never will be. But I like the ideas that it introduces.
Yeah, well, and don't forget, we can't think like, oh, I can homebrew that out, because that's not the point of this.
Yeah, just to see
Right.
Yeah,
what
we're
they're
just
doing.
what they're doing and reading it as written, as current, right?
Yeah.
For the most part, I'm fine with everything I've seen. No big deals. We talked about the critical thing. I really think that, as you said, and really honestly, as WOTC said in the very beginning when they took over D&D,
Yeah.
that creating a minus for something is not a way to balance something.
Yeah, everything they added,
Mm-hmm.
I think, was good. Everything they took away, I think, was a bad choice. Personally.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I agree. Actually, I agree. Okay,
Which
then.
maybe will help them in the future, just like stop taking away things.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right.
If you enjoyed our read through of the first iteration of new rules for D&D 1, please like and subscribe. This will come out monthly, so we'll be doing monthly reviews over this. Comment down below what your favorite change was. This was Adam Initiative, and we will see you later.
Bye.